Hello everyone and welcome to Get Better. Today was an insane week, so we're going to go through this and into this immediately, right away, right now. Okay, let's just cut to the chase. The chase is bam. All right, we have a Tomb 9 management system, also a new time management system that hopefully will be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more realistic. So my initial setup, my initial idea from last week, and go to last week's episode to check it out, was, I think, a great start, a great first step, but it didn't account for a lot of activities that I just forgot about. Oh, I'd want to do that. Like music wasn't on the list. I love music. I went to school for music. I music all the time. I like to dance and sing and play music and listen to music. The idea of music not being a part of my daily life is like insane. And not just like, oh, listening to music is something you do, but like the idea that, you know, it would be good, I think. It would be enjoyable, and I would be able to express myself better through music if I spent half an hour a day, or, you know, in this case, 2 hours a week we ended up settling on over here for, you know, man, side tangent here, tangent just for a sec, come with me. There's a really cool photo behind all of this, but you can't properly see it because my ugly face and crappy document are covering it up. Oh man. That is in Salt Lake City, Utah. Wait, no. It is in Utah. It is the Reflection Canyon in Utah. Look at that, Jesus. Okay, that's one of the new pictures. Wanted to just shout that out real quick. In any case, so I found that, let's start from day one. Day one was perfect, pretty much, as is expected. There's a lot of novelty in a day one of anything. There's a lot of excitement and energy, and you can really only rely on that for the first couple of days, or I can only really rely on that for the first couple of days, and then it starts to taper off and things become harder. But on the first day, it was really, really interesting, and if you haven't tried this exercise, a perfect day exercise, do it. Not as a lifelong thing, but just as a single day. For a single day, imagine the perfect day in terms of what you think is going to make you happy, fulfilled, and feeling good in the long term. Just give it a shot. This was my experience. So the beginning part was fine. I was already working my morning routine. Cool. All the willpower, that was easy, right? That wasn't really a problem. And then hopped on the stream. Did the stream stuff, cool, that's easy. Because as soon as I log on stream, I'm accountable to all these people that are watching me, and I'm accountable to follow my schedule that I've laid out. So that is definitely a lot easier. The hard part is right after the stream. Right after the stream is like, oh, for some reason just like spikes up. It's like, you will give up. The day is over. Just do other stuff. And the day's totally not over for me. You know, at that point, it's 6 o'clock. I still have 6 hours to be awake. Probably 1.5 of those is just kind of winding down, but like that leaves 4.5 hours of being productive and doing cool things. And it's not that I don't want to do them, but getting them started is difficult. Getting that barrier to entry is difficult. And I found this YouTube channel. There was a comment in last week's video, let's be accurate here, that showed me, and everyone who wants to click on it, a video and then a channel called Thomas Frank. There's a guy called Thomas Frank, and he does very interesting stuff. The thing that caught my eye with his videos, they're all kind of self-improvement. Some of them are a lot of them I would say are geared towards students. So if you're a student, you definitely want to check this guy out. But I ran into a lot of stuff that I've already found previously that was backed up by scientific data, like spaced repetition, and the, what do you call it? The Pomodoro technique, which I've been using sort of on and off for the entirety of me working at home. The first thing I noticed when I started working at home and sort of making my own schedule, doing my own thing when I started this was like, whoa, self-discipline's gonna be hard, you know? Not just sitting on my ass and watching Netflix all day. Not doing that is gonna be difficult. And in the beginning it was, and I've, you know, built up my self-discipline and strength since then. But man, whew, at the end of the day, let's get back to present tense here before we go too far into the tangents. day one was right after the stream was just so difficult. I just sat there for a little while and I was just like, okay, right now I want to do nothing productive. There's something in me that's just wants to do nothing productive. And so I just sat here, literally right here, and broke it down. And I sort of broke my thoughts up into two categories, into two sort of different sides. And one of them was like, if you don't just relax, you'll get burned out. And then it's just sort of like, hey, we're just gonna do this today and see how it goes. And it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty reasonable. But what if you get burned out? It's just like, well, then we'll stop and change the plan. You know, and another excuse would pop up, and this excuse would be like, yeah, but I mean, don't you want to find out what happens to Declan Harp in the next season of Frontier? And I'm just like, that theme song is pretty, no, you know? By the way, Frontier theme song is like, I almost watched that show just for the theme song. It's so, I don't know. It hits me on an emotional level. Go check it out. Jason Momoa is the lead. I think he's Aquaman. He's also, or he was Khal Drogo. Is, and forever shall be Khal Drogo from the Game of Thrones HBO series. But anyway, aside from that, it's just sort of all these little beep, beep, little excuses. All these little, go outside your plan. Do something easier. Do the path of less resistance. Maybe not least resistance, but less than whatever the thing it is you're doing. You ever notice that? Like, when I was in school and I was studying a lot, I would always end up cleaning my room. I don't really like to clean my room, but I like when it's clean. And so I'd be like, man, I got a big test tomorrow. I got this homework that I gotta do. I gotta, do these exercises and be ready for the test tomorrow. And I was like, well, you know what? A slightly easier thing to do would be to clean my room. It's not that it's the easiest thing to do, but it's easier than this hard thing, studying, that I don't want to do. So then that happens, right? And then all of a sudden, over here is cleaning the room, and then the new guy pops up and he's like, hey, don't you just want to watch Netflix and do nothing productive? Right? And so I sat there at the end of the stream with my basically just confronting my own inner monologue and breaking it down and just analyzing it and saying, no, you don't get to get away with vagueness. Like, you might burn out. And then that sort of vague fear is just sort of like, yeah, you're right, I don't want to burn out. I should just do this. Oh, thank God. Thanks rationalization for giving me an excuse to do something that's easier. Thanks very much. Appreciate that, But I didn't. And it was, oh man, that was cool. If you've never done that before, or you haven't done that in a while, do it. Oh man, it's an incredible feeling when you get to the end of the day. That's my favorite part of this whole thing. You get to the end of the day and you're just like, holy shit, I fucking kicked ass today. I did this and this and this, and I did all the things that I thought were in my best interest and the best interest of the people that I care about and the best interest of like people in general, or life in general. I think I did the best that I could do with my current set of knowledge and my current set of financial and physical limitations, right? I really do believe that I did the best. Ending a day like that is incredible. It feels so fucking good. And even like the spike right afterwards, of just like, instead of watching Netflix, I read Lord of the Rings. Not a huge upgrade in terms of productivity. I mean, it's fiction, but okay, that's a little better. Reading, people who read often read faster. And I do a lot of reading in my job. So if I can read, typing, wow, did not put typing in here. Gonna have to figure out where that goes. We're gonna put that in for later. Typing, the ability to type quickly and accurately is so powerful and so overlooked. I think I only have 50 words per minute. Like, I need more. I can't type as fast as I can think. I always have to slow down whatever I'm thinking about. And I don't think I'll ever be able to type as fast as I think. I think it's just like a human being thing. Like, generally speaking, the mind can just process things faster without recording them. Let me know if that's true, you neuroscientists and neuroscience enthusiasts out there. Is that true? Is that the way it works? Go ahead and correct me, please, if you have information. That said, Oh God. So that was an amazing day. Day 1 was great. It was phenomenal. Day 2, I ran into some obligations, and then we hit the weekend, and I had no idea how much socializing I do. Because like I spent a lot of time in this room, and I spent a lot of time, doing computer stuff and working. So I was like, and people generally, especially people that don't know me, expect me to be sort of a recluse. I'm worried about Tom. He's spending too much time in that room there. I don't think he's socializing. He's going to become disconnected with society and, like things like that. People who don't know me well, but only kind of, make guesses at my behavior based on like very vague things like, oh, you work in your room. Okay. You spend a lot of time in there. Okay. You're a recluse. So I came to expect that as well, which is interesting, right? The things that people say about you, you begin to think that they're true. A lot of times they are, sometimes they're not. In this case, they're not. And so I was like, holy crap. I thought 2 hours a day of socializing, that'll be plenty. No. Did I even do 2 hours? Did I say 1 hour? Whatever I set it up daily for socializing was so wrong. I spent the entirety of Monday and Sunday socializing. Pretty much the whole day, I was hanging out with people doing stuff. So that's like 16 times this 32 hours of socializing. It's like, whew, holy crap. And so I like the exercise. It was good. I learned a lot. I do suggest that you try it out and see how it feels. Just as an experiment, just as a self-experiment. Do it for one day. Don't do it for a whole week. Do it for one day. But now I think it's time we create something new. We do a 2.0. And then after that is 3.0, where we keep improving. And this is what I've come up with. We have a new time management system. Sick. I wanted it to be more flexible, and I wanted to be able to prioritize things and have some element of choice, but not too much. So we have things that I want to do every day. That's tier 1. We're skipping tier 0 for now. Don't worry about it. And then tier 2 is things I want to do once a week. If I do them once a week, it's fine. And so we're going to skip this for a bit. Let's go to like the tier 1 stuff. So I want to code. I want to be better at coding. Which specific avenue of coding? There's so many different, there's web development. There's so many different things that you can learn to code for. And I'm just going to get started. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't know what I'm going for. I don't know very much about software, pretty much at all. So I'm just going to learn. I'm just going to spend 2 hours a day learning as much as I possibly can. There's a lot of online resources, and I have friends who code and who have jobs and that kind of a like sort of software industry. So I'm going to be talking to them and just sort of spending time doing that 2 hours a day. And it took me a while. My previous model of like choosing what was primary and tertiary and secondary, etc., was about how fun is it and then how valuable is it. I was balancing those two things. And the fun part was all about preventing burnout. It was all about the idea of the willpower being limited. It was based on that assumption. And I don't think that it's true, at least for me. I don't think that it's true for me. Based on this little experiment we did, I was very much able to do everything according to what I think is best for me for an entire day. So the idea that at the beginning of the day, you have more willpower and at the end of the day, you have less willpower. Well, I didn't actually run into willpower problems until like later on. It was like 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. That's where I was struggling. That was where the problem was. And then I did it anyway. Right? So I performed in like what's supposed to be that's the part where you burn out at the end. There's also long-term burnout stuff, which obviously we can't test until we've done more long-form stuff, but I don't want to wait. I want to continue iterating on sort of this process and keep improving it. I don't think that we'll ever end up with this is the perfect system. This is the perfect way to spend one's time. We're done. I don't believe in the idea that I don't really think so. This is sort of a little funny thing. I don't really believe in the word enough. I'm very anti enough. I want to try harder. I want to do more. I want to keep pushing all the time. And maybe eventually I'll end up at some point where like I found like the perfect system. But I mean, knowledge is always expanding, right? We had this little kink where for a long time, the idea was that willpower is limited. We run into this study that says, hey, maybe it's not. We do a self-experiment. We say, okay, well, this new idea is working out for us. Let's keep doing that. That's bound to happen again. It's not even like a matter of probability. It's just, it will probably happen. It will definitely happen again. I have this habit of softening my language intentionally, but I think in this case I can be pretty strong. It will happen again. We will come upon new knowledge that will affect us in one way or another, and it will open up ideas for, okay, this system has holes that we need to plug, or this system is invalid and we need to make a new one, or whatever. So, coding, primary. Physical training, depends on the day. Had a long talk with a good friend of mine who is, funny enough, a coder and a martial artist and very much into physical training, strength training, etc. So talked to him and got a little physical training regimen that we're going to be using. Eventually, when I have some more money, we're going to go to the gym and we're going to get into deadlifts and squats and like the actual big strength training stuff, you know, the compound motions, the bigger weights to build strength. But for now, we do bodyweight stuff. It's progression based. I'll link it in the description, the program that I'll be trying out. But you know, we're gonna mess with it, improve it like anything else. StarCraft is in there because fluid intelligence is awesome and problem solving, processing power are awesome, and the odds that StarCraft 2 can get us that is pretty high, higher than anything else that I've found so far. So StarCraft 2 really high up. By the way, that's all RTS. RTS has the ability to do that. I think I talked about it in one of the old ones. The old episodes, there's probably some papers that get linked in the descriptions. Check those out. Dueling back for working memory progress, walking outside for vitamin D, etc. These are all things that I need to do every day. They're best done every day. But something like, ooh, you know what? Typing is a new thing. We're gonna mess with this because everything is always in flux, right? So we're gonna have to change these totals and mess around and see what's going on. But typing is a good everyday thing, and I want to start out my day like that, mostly focused on accuracy, because I think it'll start carrying into the rest of the day. It's happened to me before when I've worked on typing in the morning. It's pretty useful. So I think typing is kind of the thing. It really benefits from every day, right? So that's a good example of a tier 1 or a tier 2. So it has to be, for tier 1 stuff for me, I think it has to be important, and it has to be something that is best every day. Something like reading is like, okay, cool. Reading every day would be great, but you know, maybe you just want to sit and read, you know, one day, you know, and read 2 hours instead. We're going to try that out. We're going to have some dedicated time for acquiring new knowledge. This is another one of the gaps that I found in the old system, is that the old system left no time for progress and acquiring new things. It was just sort of, this is our current understanding. Let's iterate on it and use all of our time for development of these things that we currently understand. And so we have this acquiring knowledge section, dedicated acquiring knowledge time, music, culture, that's all important stuff. And then I put it aside 2 hours of doing something that I've never done before. This is an experiment. I think this is probably the most experimental part of this new system. I'm going to try to find, every week, I'm going to try to find one thing that I've never done before and do it. I don't know if it's gonna work. Because it's something that I've never done before. I've never thought about doing it before, maybe, who knows? But even sitting here now, I have no idea what this week's thing is gonna be. Actually, you know what? This might be a good way, and this might be cool if you guys try to suggest something to do, something that I could try in 2 hours. It could just be a new game, like, hey, try out this game, you know? See how you like it. That's really good for me for a lot of different reasons. Or maybe, you know, a new exercise or a new activity or a new skill or something. I always feel like new things take a lot of setup and a lot of time and equipment, and I feel like, you know what, I'm not gonna try anything new because I just don't have the raw materials. I don't have the, excuse me. I don't have the resources to do new things. If I want to take up snowboarding, I got to get a snowboard and or I rent it all. Yep, go up there and rent all this stuff, and it's a lot of money, and I'm broke as fuck. But I don't know. Maybe I can find something on the internet. The internet's pretty big and full of stuff. Maybe I can find something that I've never done before on the internet. I think I would be really, really almost self-delusional if I thought that was not true. So there's got to be something out there once a week for me to do that's new. So let's try it. We're gonna try to do that. We're gonna see what happens, and then I'll have to readjust these times. But overall, this is kind of where it is. This is where we're at. Oh, and then I ran into this other issue. So collapsing instead of expanding. What to do with overlapping time. So I watched Westworld with my family. I'm just like, you guys gotta check out this new show. That's an old show. That's a new season coming out. It's called Westworld. Check it out. And we're watching Westworld. Maybe we'll like watch an hour a night or something like that. But that is culture, right? Any sort of interacting with popular music, with popular TV shows and movies, etc., is absorbing the culture of sort of, I don't know, pop culture or whatever. It makes it easier to socialize. I've actually cut myself off completely from TV and movies and pop music and all that kind of stuff. And it just became, I did that for, I think, a year. I don't think it was 2 years. I think it was just 1 year. It just became really difficult to connect with other people and to socialize. It became very, very difficult. So I think that it's actually not just an enjoyable thing to do, to watch a cool TV show or read a cool book. Books less so, because books are less and less part of culture because less and less people are reading books. That's an intuition of mine. That's not a fact. We should look that up. So in any case, we're going to create this minimum system to prevent that. So instead of saying, I'm going to do exactly 2 hours of StarCraft 2 every single day, I say, I'm going to do 2 hours minimum every day. Cool. And 2 hours of reading minimum per week. And this is just going to guarantee a certain minimum level of consistency so we can improve whatever it is, right? Our reading, our typing skills, whatever they might be. And then, wow, there were so many things happened this week. This was a really interesting and fun week, which is why this has taken me so long to do. Been working on this new system for pretty much the whole week. And this video has to come out in 50 minutes. I don't think I can render it and push it out in that amount of time, so it may be a little late. Sorry, guys. But I really wanted to get this system, as good as it could be based on all the new information I had. One of the other things that I might end up going with to close things out, I kind of like the idea of having a day off completely. Just like, all right, one day where you just do all the fun things and that's it. That's all you do. It's very appealing. It might be useful. It might actually increase productivity to have a day like that. But I haven't seen any evidence, any studies, scientific evidence, etc., that give me the impression that might be a good idea. It's just an appealing idea at the moment. Like, that sounds like it would be good. But we don't know. So we're going to wait on that. If you have any information on that, please go ahead and share. Other than, I think taking a day off is great. Because a lot of people think taking a day off is great. So it's sort of like, yeah, that's cool. I appreciate the input, but data. Give me your data. What data leads you to that conclusion? What pieces of information that are true or that you're pretty sure are true? Facts and things. And yeah, so this is our new system. We're gonna give it a shot. Last week was really fun, very interesting. We learned a lot about ourselves. Big shout out for the Thomas Frank YouTube channel. Go check it out. A lot of really good stuff there. Thanks. As always, whenever y'all share cool stuff with me, I really appreciate it. So keep sharing cool stuff. Appreciate it. And that is all. Wish me luck. I'll wish you luck. Good luck. See you next week.
You are my new inspiration. my muse. And I mean that not as a compliment. I will use you to cruise through any writer's block, any lazy days when a glazed gaze invades my mind's cave of creativity. I will think of you and what you did to me. I will take negativity and make it inspire me. I was not a book from a library. As I stand here alone, I declare I was not alone, to be picked up and dropped off at a later date. And you barely even made my spine bend. Just skimmed through some of the interesting bits, then skipped to the end. The notes you left in my margins turned from scribbles to scars, but here's the best part. You didn't even realize you were reading the first draft of a bestseller, the manuscript of a future Nobel Prize winner. This book you discarded as a pamphlet will ignite shit. I will work 10 times harder than before. I will create art. I will create beauty. I will create so many things that you can't ignore. But I will not do them in your name. I will not shout you from the rooftops. I will type your name out in Morse code on my outer thigh as I casually accept plaudits from on high. I will not try to win you back. I do not want you back. I just want to show you. I just need to show you what you fucking walked away from. I will achieve all my goals tenfold. I will achieve your goals too, casually. I will have happiness and joy in my life. I will fall in love, husband, child and wife. I will shine brighter than I could ever have dreamed to be. And you will see me. And you will see me. I will make rivers run red in your anonymity. The screams of nations will echo our affinity. My wrath will be relentless. My path of destruction will be momentously momentous. I will change the face of history.